making headlines this hour. Vice President Hossein Mohammad Latif meets with Sardar Ayaz Sadiq, Speaker of the National Assembly of Pakistan, to discuss enhanced collaboration between the two countries. The government asserts its commitment to concrete reforms to ensure the safety and well-being of Chinese citizens visiting the Maldives. And the Ministry of Finance and Planning reports a significant improvement in the government's fiscal position, driven largely by increased revenue from the Tourism Goods and Services Tax, or TGST. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. Vice President Hossein Mohammad Latif meets with Sardar Ayaz Sadiq, Speaker of the National Assembly of Pakistan, to discuss enhanced collaboration between the two countries. The President's office said during the meeting at the President's office today, the Vice President welcomed the long-standing cordial bilateral relations between the Maldives and Pakistan and expressed appreciation for the continued support extended by Pakistan. According to the President's office, discussions also focused on climate change and the importance of enhancing climate resilience for both countries. They also explored avenues for further collaboration, including tourism and higher education. Concluding the meeting, it added the leaders reaffirmed their commitment to deepening bilateral relations and emphasized the importance of sustained cooperation for the mutual benefit of the two countries. Abdul Rahim The government asserts its commitment to concrete reforms to ensure the safety and well-being of Chinese citizens visiting the Maldives. The assertion was made during the 7th meeting of the joint meeting mechanisms to deal with the issue of safety of Chinese tourists in the Maldives. The meeting was co-chaired by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Sharina Abdul Samad, the Ambassador of China to the Maldives, Kang Xianhua, and the Minister of State for Tourism and Environment, Dr. Abdullah Niaz. In her opening remarks, State Minister Sharina underscored the strong and long-standing partnership between the Maldives and China, highlighting tourism as a central pillar of bilateral cooperation. She noted that China remains the Maldives' largest source market for tourism, with over 320,000 Chinese visitors recorded this year so far, reflecting the high level of trust Chinese travelers place in the Maldives. The state minister stressed the urgent need for stronger preventative measures, rigorous enforcement of safety standards, and enhanced interagency and industry-wide coordination, particularly in relation to water-based activities in tourism facilities. She called for transforming the joint meeting mechanism into a results-oriented platform driven by accountability, clear responsibilities, and time-bound actions. Highlighting the shared responsibility of government authorities, tourism operators, and partners in China, she emphasized the importance of cooperation in regulation, inspections, travel awareness, and insurance coverage, reaffirming the government's commitment to concrete reforms to ensure the safety and well-being of Chinese citizens visiting the Maldives. Looking ahead, State Minister Sharina announced that the Maldives is working closely with the Embassy of China and the Ministry of Tourism to host a ministerial-level forum on tourism cooperation next year, which will focus not only on safety and security, but also on broader investments and tourism promotion. Ambassador Kang Xianhua expressed his his gratitude to the government of Maldives for its consistent cooperation and efforts to safeguard Chinese tourists in the country. The meeting concluded with renewed resolve to implement actionable strategies, improve safety awareness, and foster a secure and welcoming environment for the Chinese visitors. The joint meeting mechanism is a bilateral discussion platform initiated in 2014 to bring together key tourism stakeholders with a view to improving safety standards for Chinese tourists. It is held annually to take stock of the implementation of safety protocols, to improve interagency coordination, and to identify gaps in policy with a view to addressing challenges and shortcomings. The government has asserted its commitment to concrete reforms to ensure the safety and well-being of Chinese citizens visiting the Maldives. The assertion was made during the 7th meeting of the joint meeting mechanism to deal with the issue of safety for Chinese tourists in the Maldives. The meeting was co-chaired by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Sherina Abdul Samad, the Ambassador of China to the Maldives, Kang Sin-hua, and the State Minister of Tourism. The Minister of State for Tourism and Environment, Dr. Abdullah Niaz. In her opening remarks, State Minister Sherina The Ministry of Finance and Planning reports a significant improvement in the government's fiscal position, driven largely by increased revenue from the Tourism Goods and Services Tax, or TGST. TGST collections rose to $642.02 million, marking a 14.1% increase from the $564.20 million collected during the corresponding period in 2024. The rise in tourism-related income pushed total tax revenue to $1.74 billion, reflecting a 9.2% increase year-on-year. The ministry also reported a substantial reduction in the fiscal deficit, which narrowed by 82.5% to $123.22 million, down from $700.39 million a year earlier. This improvement was supported by a 12.7% decline in total state expenditure, which fell to $2.46 billion. Despite the reduction in overall spending, capital investment remained a key priority. Expenditure under the Public Investment Program totaled $473.41 million, with the transport sector accounting for $285.34 million, largely directed towards airport development. Officials said efforts are continuing to streamline subsidies and to manage capital costs more effectively. The Bank of Maldives, or BML, signs agreements with Waysin Pay and the Visit Maldives Corporation, strengthening its commitment to expanding digital payment solutions and supporting growth in the country's tourism sector. The partnership brings together key financial and tourism stakeholders to enhance marketing and digital initiatives, with a particular focus on improving services for Chinese visitors. Officials said the collaboration is designed to ensure seamless engagement that aligns with the Maldives' wider tourism development strategy. As part of the initiative, BML is working with Waysin Pay to introduce advanced technologies, including palm recognition, to improve payment accessibility and interoperability. The partners recently held a session with leading Maldivian resorts, demonstrating how the Waysin Pay ecosystem can be integrated to enhance service delivery and expand payment acceptance from the Maldives' largest inbound tourism market. BML Chief Executive Officer Mohammad Sharif said the partnership aims to deliver secure, biometric-enabled payment experiences, enabling local merchants to meet the expectations of international travelers. Abdurrahim Abdullah, Speaker of the Maldivian Parliament, describes the legislative building as a concrete symbol of the enduring relationship between the Maldives and Pakistan. His remarks were delivered during a meeting with Sardar Ayaz Sadiq, Speaker of the Pakistan's National Assembly, who began a three-day official visit at the invitation of his Maldivian counterpart. The discussions underscored the historic friendship between the two nations, with Speaker Abdurrahim examining opportunities to strengthen diplomatic engagement. He expressed formal appreciation for Pakistan's contributions to the Maldives, citing support in the education and health sectors, as well as direct assistance extended to the parliament. The meeting concluded with the signing of a memorandum of understanding intended to institutionalize collaboration between the two legislative bodies. Speaker Abdurrahim said the agreement would establish new capacity building programs for lawmakers and parliamentary staff, reinforcing what he described as a strategic partnership between the Maldives and Pakistan. Insights into world business. A senior minister of Sri Lanka government says Sri Lanka expects its economy to expand by more than 5% next year, matching this year's pace and significantly outstripping IMF projections, partly driven by reconstruction efforts following the widespread destruction caused by Cyclone Ditwa. The storm hit in late November, killing nearly 650 people and affecting about 10% of Sri Lanka's 22 million population. It caused major damage to infrastructure, farms, and tea estates, with rebuilding costs estimated at up to $7 billion for a country still recovering from its 2022 economic collapse. The Indian Ocean island has been receiving funds under an IMF bailout program, while additional emergency assistance has been pledged by global agencies and foreign governments for it to cope with its worst natural disaster since the 2004 tsunami. This month, the Asian Development Bank committed $200 million for the country and the World Bank $120 million. The country's Labor Minister and Deputy Minister of Economic Development, Anil Jayanta Fernando, says the IMF is expected to improve Sri Lanka's request for emergency funding of $200 million.
Our task is to do the right thing at this moment, bring more and more investment, so maintain this economic trajectory. So as I just highlighted, the 5% growth, and will gradually increase by aiming medium-term growth more than 7%. So this is the target line.
Fernando said this year would be more than 5%, higher than the central bank's 4.5% projection, based on numbers in the first 3 quarters of the year. He expects similar growth next year too. The IMF has predicted 3.5% in 2025 and 3.1% next year. To repair damaged homes, restore infrastructure such as roads and railways, and rebuild livelihoods, Fernando said the government would divert funds from other areas, utilize excess money we have already in the Treasury Department, tap money given by donors, and seek support from other agencies as well. He said Parliament is expected to approve $1.6 billion in supplementary spending, funded partly through the reallocation of ministry budgets, when it convenes on the 19th and 20th of December. Taking a look at international affairs, with general elections just months away and its billionaire patriarch in prison, Thailand's embattled Pheu Thai party is banking on another member of the divisive Shinawatra clan with little experience in politics to help mount a comeback. Yotchanan Wongsawat, 46, the nephew of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra and son of Yomchai Wongsawat, Thaksin's brother-in-law, is unveiled as the leading candidate from Pheu Thai's 3 contenders for Prime Minister in the February 8 general election.
First of all, it's time to move Thailand forward. Okay, so that would be mandatory. And the second thing is, right now we on the intersection of making the new decision. So as a candidate for the prime minister, you have two choices. You would go for the same system, or you would move forward for the new system with science and technology need to embed into every growth engine of the country.
A dominating figure in contemporary Thai politics, Thaksin was jailed for 1 year in September for avoiding an initial prison sentence for conflict of interest and abuse of power while he was prime minister from 2001 to 2006. Thaksin's daughter, Paitongtarn Shinawatra, was ousted as prime minister by a court order in August over a leaked June telephone call during which she appeared to kowtow to Cambodia's powerful former leader Hun Sen, until recently a close Shinawatra family ally when both countries were on the brink of an armed conflict. Fighting erupted weeks later and flared up again on the 8th of December. Pheu Thai support has nosedived during the upheaval and this month polled at only 11.4% in a nationwide survey conducted by the National Institute of Development Administration from 13.96% in September and 28.05% in March. Yotchanan says that he believes that Pheu Thai's political legacy, including populist policies like universal health care and cash handouts that won it years of support among people in the country's rural areas, can still help. Aware at the drop in popularity, Yotchanan also recognized that the party may not outright win in the election. We now bring you calls to prayer for Asia.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
ಜಾದಿವೆ ರಾಜ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ವಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲುಮ PSME ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲವ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲುಮ ಫಹು ಲೊಗಿನ್ ವೆಲಾಫ ಜಾದಿವೆ ರಾಜ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ ಫಿತ್ ಕಲವ್ವ ವೋಟ್ಲಾಂ ಬೇಣುವ ದಾಯಿರ ಹಿಯಾಳ್ ಕುರವ್ವ ಅದಿ ವೋಟ್ಲಾಂ ಬೇಣುವಾರ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲುಮ ಫಹು ವೋಟ್ ದೆವ್ವ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ವೋಟಕಿ ದೆ ಟೋಕನ್ ಎಂಗ್ ಅಕೌಂಟು ಎವ್ ವೋಟ ಬುಡಂಗಿನಂಗ್ ವೋಟ್ ದೆವೇಣೆ
Welcome back to our English news broadcast. Updates on world sports. Paris Saint-Germain and France forward Ousmane Dembélé is named FIFA Men's Player of the Year in Doha, with Spain and Barcelona midfielder Aitana Bonmati winning the Women's Award for the third year in a row. Dembélé was instrumental in PSG's first Champions League triumph when they beat Inter Milan 5-0 in the final and scored 35 goals last season across all competitions, including 21 in Ligue 1 to finish as top scorer. The 28-year-old, who won this year's Ballon d'Or in September, was part of the PSG team, which also swept all before them on the domestic front last season and reached the final in the Club World Cup. Bonmati, the Champions League player of the season, also won the Women's Ballon d'Or for the third time in a row this year and helped Barcelona win the domestic treble along with reaching the Champions League final. The 27-year-old also reached the Euro 2025 final with Spain, losing the decider to England on penalties, and Bonmati was named player of the tournament. Serena Wegman won the Best Women's Coach award for the 5th time after leading England to retain their European Championship title, and Luis Enrique won the Men's Coach award after taking Paris Saint-Germain to their first Champions League win. The Best Women's Goalkeeper award went to England and Chelsea's Hannah Hampton, who played a major role in the Lionesses' Euro 2025 win with her penalty shootout saves, and also won the domestic treble with her club. Italy's Gianluigi Donnarumma, who now plays for Manchester City, won the Men's Keeper award for his role in Paris Saint-Germain's treble win. Mexico's Lisbeth Ovalle, who won the FIFA Marta award for the best goal in women's football for her scorpion kick for Tigres against Guadalajara in March. Santiago Montiel won the Puskás award for the best men's goal for his overhead strike for Independiente against Independiente Rivadavia during an Argentine Primera match in May. And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.